Sega.
Hi guys, Lewted here with another dank stream. I'm trying to fix my microphone so that you guys can hear me. Okay, that should be fine. So essentially, actually I don't even know if I changed the title. I don't think I did. Let me just check something. Today I just wanted to talk more about Shogun 2. Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't. That's fine. I'll just fix that afterwards. When I'm uploading it, that's fine. Kind of ruins the purpose, but that's fine. Today I wanted to talk more about Shogun 2 and like the units. I'm thinking about doing a unit guide for them because a faction guide would be pointless. But I'm holding off on it because I saw one that I didn't agree with, but I thought was good enough. So I'm just gonna put that in here. Make that the next title before I start this battle. I was just busy doing some other stuff like checking up on Linux. I'm gonna miss tomorrow. I have Linux, but I have to do a bunch of stuff. Come on. There. That should be fine. Anyway, back to the video. So, I wanted to do a unit guide on Shogun 2. Every faction is the same, they have the exact same units. Factions will have traits that give their units, like the units they recruit, certain bonuses. The Hattori, for example, have the most expensive units in the game overall, but at the same time, they also have Kisho training on their all Shigeru and Samurai, excluding cavalry, which makes sense. So the Hattori do have a hard campaign, probably the hardest. The Otomo have a hard campaign too, but it's pretty easy to win with them if you know what you're doing. Anyway, people often say that Ashigaru are virtually useless. That's not true. Boa Ashigaru, for example, are bad. Yes, they do have a purpose though. Like, Bow Samurai are better. However, these guys are like good meat shields, unless they get charged at by cavalry or infantry, depending on if you're clumsy or not paying attention. But besides that, they're not the worst units in the game. The worst units, it really depends on how you use them. Kisho ninjas can be the worst units if you use them improperly. There have been times where I've used them properly, and there's been times where I haven't used them properly. See, Boa Shigeru are like the worst units if you think about macro. For example, these guys will just fire, like, they'll fire anything, but they won't get a lot of kills most of the time. They might get a lot of kills on Ashigaru because they have low armor. They might get a lot of kills on bow units because they also have low, on warrior monks because they also have low armor. But they won't get a lot of kills on Naginatas, on the bulletproof samurai, and so on. They even struggle against katana cavalry, which is surprising. Now, the Iko Iki is my favorite faction in the game. Just wanted to mention that. Their Ashigaru do have the same morale as the Oda Ashigaru. They also have more men, but they have less melee stats and less range stats. So they do an even worse job at killing units, but they have more men, which is extremely useful when you consider how morale works. Like, I discovered this in the Rome 2 database, but it also applies to Shogun 2 and pretty much every Total War game up to date. The blood bonus, which is how many kills you get on the charge in the first 5-10 seconds. And then obviously the morale debuff of losing half of your unit, or how much models you lose in under a minute. That all comes to play as well. The Iko Iki do not have samurai. They do not have Metsuke either. But what they do have is Ronin. Ronin are basically samurai that do not have a leader and will just go to any clan that will hire them or want them. It just so happens that the Iko Iki want them because without samurai, they don't have a real soul in their army. Anyway. Now that's really important because the Iko Iki will lose a lot of fights if you don't use them properly. They rely heavily on Ashigaru. Like, there's no joke about that. But they also are fairly reliant on warrior monks, just like the Uesugi. The Iko Iki historically were like a rebellion faction. I think Iko Iki means rebellion, rebels, or something like that. They're basically peasants that believe in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, which is a different teaching of Buddhism. A very interesting one too if you actually look it up. very interesting faction. So they're gonna win for sure because they're gonna get attacked in the flank. Actually, they got a number of kills. That's okay. We're gonna win this battle relatively quickly.
My lord, a glorious victory will soon be yours.
But as you're going to see, I think I can bring it up. Yeah, 59 kills on these Boushigaru, 56 on this one, and then the Yari's got a fair amount of kills themselves. Ashigaru are not as bad as people say they are. Each Ashigaru has a purpose, and yes, they do underperform when it comes to the samurai. You know, but they're not like utter garbage. Bow Ashigaru are bad, yes, but they also have uses such as like screening your troops. Bow Samurai can't do that because they'll die as quickly as the Bow Ashigaru when it comes to muskets or matchlocks. So it's kind of like an insurance in a sense. Not the most effective insurance, but it's like insurance. So yeah, as you can see, I'm playing as the Takeda. I recently did a campaign where I was playing as Tokugawa. Obviously on easy because I'm trying to do a blitz of finishing every faction because it's been 5 years since I've had this game. About 5 years, yeah. And the fact that I haven't beaten every faction is outrageous, in my opinion. So I have access to Naginata units, I have access to Yari Cav, I do not have access to Katana Cav yet. This campaign is going to go over pretty quickly, I might not be able to finish it on stream, but as you can see I'm making progress. It's an easy campaign, there's nothing much to talk about easy campaigns with respect to fighting battles. Hard campaigns, very hard campaigns, and of course legendary campaigns are the ones you want to look out for. Because those campaigns are like the ones where you actually have to be fairly good at the game. Now I'm good at Shogun 2, I'm gonna say that, and I might regret it later, but I am good at Shogun 2. Where's my microphone? There it is. I'm good at Shogun 2, I can say that, and not feel bad. However, I will admit that at times I struggle to win battles because of the game speed, which I've already talked about. And that's just a personal thing, like, other people might not struggle with Fall of the Samurai, it might just be me. But, you know, the biggest thing that I struggle with is, of course, not being able to micro units, because, like, chances are I have to micro somewhere else, but the macro is doing most of the work, and I don't like that.
We should discuss.
I just wanted to quickly go over every unit, what I think about them, and I hope that what I say now will also go into any future guide if I
Armed with the dead.
For Shogun 2. So essentially, my thought on Shogun 2 is pretty simple and straightforward. Good game, relies more on macro than micro, which is unfortunate, but you know, I'm not gonna complain or say that, oh, the Creative Assembly is a bad company. You know, Shogun 2 is different, and it took a while for me to adjust to it because, like I said before, I was used to muskets and stuff. And now all of a sudden, I'm fighting melee battles. I I can. So yeah, like I'm more of a line infantry versus line infantry person. This is more of a class difference versus class difference versus not really that much line battles. Fall of the Samurai is closer to Napoleon than Shogun 2 is. See, in Fall of the Samurai, obviously, if you do have the game, you'll know that there's 3 classes: a Shigaroo, Samurai, and Warrior Monks, which I don't have. Warrior Monks are the hardest to get. They are the rarest you'll see in armies. Sometimes in multiplayer you'll see people spam them because they see how useful they are. Not much I can say about them. My belief is as follows. Spear units, because you can go like with melee, you can go from those classes down to like the different classes like spear, sword, bow, etc. Spears are defensive. Yaryu Shigaroo can excel defensively, but they can be used to push up, and that's what I like about them too. Because in Empire, you had pikes, but they couldn't push up. Once you went to pike wall, they were stationary, and pikemen were virtually useless, in my opinion, because yes, you can do pike and shot, but most of the time the pikes themselves aren't useful when you're being attacked by a melee infantry unit. Melee infantry could go with, and attack you with ease. It was more of a way to counter cavalry. It really depended on if the cavalry attacked it frontally. Because if they didn't, what would end up happening is the pike unit would probably survive because of how Empire works, but they would also take probably a fair amount of casualties. Yeah. Anyway, back to Shogun 2. The Shigaroo, Samurai, Warrior Monks. You can also split them into certain classes: bows, spears, cavalry, swords, etc. Spears are defensive. I already said that. Bows are spears are defensive. Swords are offensive. Bows and naginatas are both. However, with bows, you have to constantly be at range. They're good for provoking an enemy into being disorganized or coming to you. They're good for attacking a position, but once you get into close quarters combat, most bows are useless. It's the same thing with matchlocks, except they have a shorter range. They're good for attacking infantry, but most matchlocks do so bad in fights. Portuguese circles are an exception, but I'll go into them later, hopefully. Naginatas are the opposite of bows. They are useful in both offensively and defensively, but you have to be in close quarters combat. That's why the wiki says that, let me just see if I can bring it up. The wiki says that they suffer against matchlocks, yeah. They do suffer against matchlocks and missile units in general. More matchlocks because matchlocks have an easier time of defeating these guys. Technically speaking, Bulletproof Samurai have the exact same armor as Naginata Samurai. So now why Bulletproof Samurai have are said to like be able to survive matchlocks is because they can. The difference between them and Naginata Samurai is the fact that Bulletproof Samurai have rapid advance. That is why they can survive. They have the exact same armor. They don't have the same stats, I think. Like I think they're very close to Naginata Samurai of 9 attack and 6 defense, or 7 defense. 6 defense. Okay. I think they're close, but I don't think they will.
Enough brave men have died.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was fighting.
It is time to discuss an end to the fighting.
Take out the Wasegi, because I was actually planning to declare war on my next neighboring clan. And now I realize that I can't do that. Now, quite frankly, with the Shigeru, most of them underperform. I did say that. Samurai do better in everything compared to Shigeru, but they also, for the most part, cost twice the price in upkeep. And Yari Shigeru in multiplayer costs 370 Koku. That's slightly more, like, so 2 Yari Shigeru is slightly more than 1 unit of Katana Samurai. Definitely more than 1 unit of Yari Samurai, but they do have different uses. If I'm correct, 6 attack, 8 defense. Yari Samurai, Naginata Samurai, Katana Samurai have the same stats, but they just have them in different places, which is why some excel in something, the others excel in something else. 9-6, a bonus of 15. Bonus versus cavalry can be put in, like, I think for every 4 bonus versus cav, it's like 1 melee attack or defense. I think that's how it works because that's how it works in multiplayer, kind of. 6, 9, that's 15. But then they have a bonus of versus cav of 15. It might be the charge bonus. I can't remember why it's like this, but it is what it is. Alright, I got lost. I'm off track. So anyway. Then there's warrior monks who will come in. Well, depending if you have the Iko-Iki path, they will come in warrior monks. They will come in warrior monk, Naginata warrior monks. Same as Naginata samurai, etc. They will come in the bows. They will come in the matchlocks, I think, if you have the DLC. Or they will come in the cavalry. That's definitely if you have the DLC. The matchlocks are faction specific to the Iko-Iki, but the bows and Naginatas aren't. The difference between warrior monks and samurai is morale and stats. I mean, warrior monks are slightly better than samurai, but it really depends. For example, warrior monks lose to Katana Samurai because Katana Samurai are better at killing infantry. However, it depends if you use Warcry or not. If you use Warcry, the Naginata warrior monks will win. Against Nodachi units, it really depends. I think, if I remember correctly, they do lose. Nodachi units do lose, but I can't remember, so I don't want to be quoted on it. But bow warrior monks have 25 more range than bow Shigeru and samurai. They do not have. They have 25 less range than the bow hero, which is interesting. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting when I first saw it. Obviously, I'm talking about like before I even had the game. I played the demo, and yeah, it was pretty nice. But back on track. The best thing about warrior monks is the morale. Like, forget the what is it, the fact that they have better stats. The morale is what I look for in warrior monks, because in this game morale is so easy to lose so quickly. I mean, it's easy to rout units, you know. But to like outright route warrior monks is a task itself. Like, it's really hard to route warrior monks. They're like one of those units that like stay to last minute. And then of course, I forgot to mention heroes. Rome 2 does not have any hero units. They have elite units just like Napoleon, but they don't have heroes. So basically, heroes are the best of the best. They come in the smallest size though. They come in, let me see if I can remember the calculation. They come in quarter of the size of a samurai unit, a regular samurai unit. Except those samurai, of course.
Our general is in grave danger, my lord!
I'm surprised.
My lord! A glorious victory will soon be yours!
Anyway, heroes are the best of the best, like I said. They can kill a lot of things quickly. They can basically take on any unit single-handedly. They, do they kill the same amount? Do they have like the same DPS as like other units? Chances are they have a better damage per second. They're good. They're good for sure. The only problem I have with hero units is their cost. And like I said, hero units have a small size. That means that they can be tackled by matchups pretty easily. Missiles, like bows, for example, can also hurt them. The Katana Samurai, the Katana Hero has 9 armor, which is the same as the Naginata Samurai. They're fairly resilient to archers, but you have to be careful still. The way I think it works is how damage is overall calculated. I think it's random, but in the database they do mention that different bow types have different amounts of damage. Every matchlock and musket does 2 damage, regardless of armor, I think. But I could be wrong. For sure though, they divide the damage done by the armor of the unit that's being attacked, because there's no missile block chance. So yeah. So what it is, for example, both the Foot Samurai and Rise of the Samurai have damage of 0.45. Now, if we were talking about Naginata warrior monks, like the Rise of the Samurai version, they have 6 armor. So if you were to divide 0.45 by 6, I think you'd end up getting like a positive, not a positive, a lesser number, obviously. It comes out to like 0.075 maybe. But yeah, that's how much damage it would usually do. Now that's pretty good, considering what you get. Like, I used to think that if in Napoleon, if a bullet hit you, you were instantly dead, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately.
お呼びでしょうか。は。
御意にございます。
Where was I? So yeah, I think it's a lot of things in Shogun 2 are interesting, but the damage done is interesting in itself. See, on one side, you know, not everything just dies. Like Napoleon, a bullet can hit you, but you're still alive. I thought that was pretty interesting. More importantly, before I get sidetracked again, I'm gonna probably just drift off, stop talking about damage, start talking about the cavalry. Most cavalry are samurai cavalry. There is, of course, the Naginata warrior monk cav, which is faction specific to the Ikoiki. But yeah, light cav are samurai cav, but they're more of like a scout cav. Like they can spot hidden units better than other cav. Then there's Yari Cav. Yari Cav are like the main cav that people go to. They have 30 charge. Like they're more of a shock cav unit, but they're very good in prolonged fights against other cavalry. This wasn't implemented in Empire or Napoleon, where spear cav would be better than like other sword cav. Because in Napoleon, every cav unit except Lancers were sword cav. Like they wielded swords as a melee unit. There's nothing else. Lancers had spears. No, not spears, lances. Which would explain why they don't have the same bonus. But I thought it was pretty weird when I was coming over to Shogun 2 and seeing spear wielding units have a bonus versus cav, because I always thought that in prolonged fights spears were bad. But then it dawned on me that Napoleon doesn't have spears, they have lances. Like there are no spear units. And even in Empire there's pikemen, those aren't spears, they're long spears. So anyway, there's Katana Cav, which basically serve a better purpose than Katana Samurai do. Katana Samurai and the Katana Cavalry are basically the best cavalry when it comes to killing infantry. They can kill a lot of infantry. Yari Cavalry can kill a lot of infantry on the charge, but Katana Cavalry can kill a lot of infantry in prolonged fights.
殿、人は吹かせてやりましょうぞ。
今度は何用じゃ。
Now, then there's bow cav. They are mobile bow units. They can fire on the move, but they do not have parting shot because the Japanese never they never came up with that idea of being able to fire backwards. They can only fire at what's in front of them, which is why it's so easy to get them chased off the field. They do have they have shorter swords. I can't remember what it's called, but they don't have katanas. They don't wield katanas. They are pretty good. when it comes to if you want a mobile bow unit for like harassing enemies and then being able to retreat, because you can't do that with foot archers, which I think is correct. But what makes bow cavalry interesting is the fact that they can move, fire, and then retreat afterwards. Oh, this is a tough one. Okay. Let's save it again. Because it's easy, I can fight it, but it's a hard one. I already did that. Again, it is easy. The only thing you want to be careful of is being overconfident. Because I've lost a legendary battle in a similar situation like this. I was fighting a battle where I was playing as the Wesigi. I was going up against a minor faction, I think. And then all of a sudden, light cavalry came out of nowhere and killed my general. And then the campaign just like went silent after that. I couldn't like make a comeback, but it was pretty interesting in my opinion. What I liked about that campaign is that it taught me that the AI is dangerous when you can't see what they're doing. Because of course you can't go over 200 meters of your army's field of view. But at the same time, I could have probably seen the units, but I was paying more attention to what was in front of me. Had I had the mini-map and was able to go like all the way out here, I probably would have beaten him, beaten the AI. Actually, go on these. And we're good. Bow. Oh yes, and there's also heroes for the cavalry, but you only get those if you have the Saints and Heroes DLC. I think the Saints and Heroes DLC was such a waste of money, but I got it anyway because I liked the game, not because it was a good DLC. Like nowadays, I don't do things like that anymore. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this stream, the use of Yari Shiguru in general. Bow Shiguru, yeah, they can be considered bad. Yari Shiguru, however, have a very important use, defensively and partially offensively. Unlike Yari Samurai, you can't get past Yari Shiguru most of the time. Their description actually says it too. These Shiguru are armed with long spears for use in close combat, or to make an almost impenetrable defense against cavalry. Yes, against cavalry, like you can't go past it. In that last battle, only one unit of cav was able to get past it, but the rest of the cav would not be able to. The way Shogun 2 works is kind of similar to the way Square works in Napoleon, where the cavalry actually get debuffs when they're attacking frontally. I don't know if it works if they're being hit in the rear, but the bonus versus cav still applies. That's for sure. It's just like Road 2 and Attila. You can attack hoplites in the rear using cavalry, but if you stay in there too long, they'll definitely get you. Oh yeah, I remember. I just realized that I was attacking. I can lure them over the bridge. That's no problem. Because the AI on easy will just come like one unit after another. Let me just fast forward. I will end the stream soon because I don't want it to get overly drawn out and then people are wondering what I'm saying, why I'm saying it. You know, things like this I just think of and then I want to talk about it. But what's most important about this stream, if you take away from anything, is the fact that Ashiguru, no matter how bad they perform, they aren't useless. They do have a point. They do have a purpose, not a point, depending on how you use them, and definitely depending on whether you feel they are worth bringing or not. Usually by this point they'd budge, but that's fine. The very first thing I did in the Empire Total War demo, which was the first time I actually came into contact with any Total War really, was I did the infamous go across the ridge and then rush the enemy. No matter what game you play, that almost never works. I just thought I'd make that clear. It doesn't work. I've tried it even professionally, like in multiplayer battles. It doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because these things are called choke points. Choke points are bottlenecks, or a bottleneck is a choke point. A choke point is basically something like this. A bridge, like there's a lot of space here, but then there's not a lot of space here. And then if your opponent is able to block here, you can use like a unit to block like a bunch of units. That's why the Romans are so good in siege battles or city battles, you know, because they can choke point you. Like if they choke point you, you can't flank the Romans, and the Romans will be able to beat you with their superior attack, armor, and weapon damage. In Shogun 2, it kind of works the same way, especially with Yari Shigeru. In most battles, when I'm defending, all I have to do is bring a Yari Shigeru here, make sure that my opponent is not not able to use his missiles against me, and then all I have to do is just protect the choke point, and then swiftly pour fire into it, because in a choke point it's so easy to fire into units. Not a lot of people have talked about that, but yeah, it's really easy. I know this unit of Cav is going to get a lot of fire. That's fine with me. As long as I can route these 3 units, I'm fine. I'm just going to go right across because this is an easy AI. And the easy AI won't do it. But sometimes they do, so I just have to be careful of that. They should have routed by now. Naginata-sama, I haven't mentioned this, but Naginata-sama can charge. Especially when you have missile inferiority, because they will always perform. Naginata Samurai are extremely good at leading the charge against bows. When it comes to when it comes to matchlocks, not so much. You'll want to not make the matchlocks fire on you, that's for sure, but yeah, you definitely do not want to use a unit like Katana Samurai frontally, because they suffer so much against bows, they suffer so much against matchlocks, even more than Naginata Samurai, because Naginata Samurai are slower. But Naginata Samurai are always like your go-to unit when it comes to leading a charge. Being frontline infantry, that's up to you, but definitely when it comes to leading a charge. As you can see, and I don't know if you saw this, but Naginata Samurai had these units had 120 units. They're down to 99. This unit had 120. It's down to 108. They both, for the most of the time, were under a lot of fire coming off the bridge, and then going to attack these units. This unit only has 4 kills because it came off second, but this unit has 120. because that's what happens to a Shigeru once they unlock the first players. For some reason I couldn't put all my units into formation, that's fine, but you know, this is an emergency. When you push units into a fight, they tend to like die a bit quicker in my experience, especially cavalry. Again, you would never get away with this in pitch battle, but I'm getting away with it because it's not. The biggest use for Yari Shiguru, like I said, is pike. It's their main formation. It's the formation that gets them the most kills. It does a lot of work for them. There's something so important that I want to talk about. We'll have to wait. So I might end up losing this battle, but I can survive with that. I can live with that.
Our men are running from the battlefield.
It looks like it's just going to be
Shameful display. Our general is in grave danger, my lord.
Unfortunately, my Naginata Samurai were not affected. That's mainly because of the fact that I didn't put them in a proper formation. Like, the Naginata Samurai were not well protected. They should have been... They would have been much better off in the flanks, but I couldn't get them to do that.
Our men are running from the battlefield. Shameful display.
But anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. Thanks guys so much for watching. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it, whether it's the stream or YouTube video. And I'll keep you guys up to date if I actually make the guide. Chances are I won't, but I might just keep it for myself. Like, I'll make some notes about what I think about it and just keep it for myself. Thanks guys again so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Bye guys.